Hello, Genesis chapter 12. Starting to talk about Abraham now. You know, Abraham's a little bit of a dilemma for many of the Jews because he was not a Jew. I mean, he didn't come. Now, this didn't come until later, but he was the father of all Jews. And so, this gets into a lot of things we have even in the Middle East today, a lot of questions that the world would have. Genesis 12. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, into the land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Important man, wasn't he? So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son. So I knew I was wrong earlier when I said something different. And their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mountain, unto the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Haon on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold, now I know that that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Oh, he's complimenting his wife, his half sister. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive, because you're hot. I've been told I'm not supposed to use that kind of language. Maybe it's inappropriate. But, that's what he's saying about his wife, that she's pretty, and you're so pretty that my life's going to be in jeopardy if I claim to be your husband. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. So in life, it's interesting parallel we use in the context of life. God gives us life, so he breathes life into us. But because of thee. Verse 14, it came to pass that when Abram was come to Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, that she was very fair. The princess also Pharaoh saw her, and commanded her before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. And he entered, and he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he asses, and men servants, and maid servants, and she asses, and camels. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, Why is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, She is my sister, so I might have taken her to be my wife? Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. Interesting. Of course, it's going to happen again. But, the main thing here shows us that Abram was fighting the battle of good and evil, right? He was taking some shortcuts. Was he a good man? Yes. took some shortcuts. He was scared. He was anxious, at least at this point in his life, and certainly made mistakes in that regard. It's interesting. We're following the seed line, but we're following the seed line through imperfect men. And so sometimes some of these stories don't necessarily have a moral lesson for us. Well, I guess we can always bring out a moral lesson, but some of these stories are just to show us how that Christ came through wicked men. Sometimes men just do things wrong. And there's some things we're going to get into even later in this book that really, really are absurd. That's in the Bible? Well, yes, because it helps us to understand. God paints a picture of mankind just the way man is. And, we all have warts, right? We've eaten of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil as a race, as people. And, we've got the devil on one side telling us to do bad things and angel on the other side. And in our minds, a great vision for us to keep in mind all the way through the Bible. It's just that way. We're struggling. We're fighting against ourselves. We're the only one that can hurt ourselves. And boy, is that ever illustrated in Scripture. So that's Genesis chapter 12. Thank you.